Folks, welcome, and it's time to suit up minus the tie because it's in the wash to another episode of the Soul Sessions. I'm your host, Soul, and with me today, a man about all the attitude, but he's a bit of a wanderer because he is the Wanderer. Welcome, pal.
Thank you. First of all, don't worry, there is no need to fear because the Wanderer is here and you are listening to the Soul Sessions. Thank you for having me on the show. It's great to finally be on the show after weeks and weeks of trying, busy schedule, etc. We finally secured that date and we got it booked in. We're finally here. So thank you for having me and thank you for your patience.
Oh, Wanderer, my pleasure, pal. I know it's the Christmas rush and people are getting to the shops for all the deals, but we've managed to squeeze it in because we have to avoid that rush of the festive period. That's
Definitely.
the time we are recording.
That's right.
Well, obviously, Wonder, what I do with every guest, I've been saying it for the past 100 episodes now. Every guest has a story and every story has a beginning. Wanderer, how did your story begin as a wrestling fan?
So it all began, I grew up, I don't know if you're familiar with a place called Ruggy.
Familiar.
I grew up in Ruggy, loving wrestling. I think my first introduction to wrestling was in 2007, round about the time where Batista was the World Heavyweight Champion. He was the first guy I clicked to, and he was like my idol for so long until he left in 2010. But my first introduction to wrestling was Batista's feud with The Undertaker. And from then on, I was hooked right into it. From then on. So that's where it began. So I grew up in Rugby, loving wrestling as a kid yourself, with your friends and stuff. So what we done was we had our own little backyard promotion. It was just a wee game of wrestling we played at our back garden, but we took it very seriously. We threw each other off bin sheds. We hit each other over the head with boxes. We just layered each other at our back gardens. And that was pretty much just growing up loving wrestling and trying my best to become a wrestler. Until 2015, where I began my training to become a wrestler. I was 13 years old. I trained at a place in Airdrie. I trained from there from 2015 to the start of 2020, when lockdown happened and stuff. So yeah, lockdown happened. I took a really long break from wrestling. Obviously, with all the stuff that came out during lockdown, it really just put me off wrestling. I had no intentions of ever coming back. Just wasn't for me anymore until Ravie-Davie actually started his own wrestling promotion. I saw he was running his own wrestling shows. They looked great. And I seen he was opening up his own school as well. So yeah, I thought I went over, I tried it out, and here I am. I'm here right now, and I am where I am today from starting Glasgow School of Wrestling. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. It's very short, very simple. I was just a kid from Rugby growing up loving wrestling, and till one day I became a wrestler.
Well, hey, Wanderer, sometimes the best stories are the simple and sweet ones. So, you got it right there, my friend. Indeed.
That's right. Thank you.
But obviously, you mentioned Batista, the animal, loving him growing up. And Batista is a very great individual, just able to get you invested. And I think that made him such an effective actor, with what he's done with Marvel and what he's done with
Definitely. I'd say he's the best actor out of The Rock and John Cena. I definitely do. I rate him very highly.
Well, I will take that indeed, my friend. But what do you think that gives Batista that edge above Cena and The Rock as an actor in the world of film?
I feel like Batista doesn't need to be different at all when he's acting. I feel like in every film he's just Batista in a costume. Like he's not anybody different. He's just himself. That's the way I feel like when I'm watching like any film with Batista in it. It's just Batista. Like he's not really changing like personality in any way. He's just the way he is. Whereas like The Rock, Cena and stuff, like they're good at like playing different roles and that. I feel like Batista just smashes it by being himself.
Hey, absolutely. He's done it. He's in so many grossing high franchises and all that. So the man's doing something correct. And obviously, Batista would come back to the WWE in the 2014 Royal Rumble and do the WrestleMania 30 with Orton and Bryan Danielson. I want to know, from Batista returning, and maybe not having the longest time return of the company, but do you think like you would have loved to see him do more in that 2014 period?
Well, for sure. Like, if it was up to me, Batista would be the world champion right now. But for what it was, what he done when he came back and stuff, I feel like the impact he had on what he done was just perfect. Obviously, getting Daniel Bryan over and getting the Shield over, he came in and done the job, and that was get the new guys over. But I'm just glad that obviously he got to finish things on his terms, like when he wrestled Triple H. That's obviously the match he wanted for his retirement match and stuff. Like, personally, I felt like he should have went on, wrestled all these other names like Kevin Owens and stuff. Like, he should have went out and done a proper run. But he's obviously just old and doesn't want to do it anymore. He just wants to. He obviously feels comfy acting. So I let the man go for it. He's deserved it. He's had an amazing career nonetheless, and I'm just glad that everything that he done happened, because it's memorable.
Yeah, exactly. And memories are the best part of wrestling. They're the parts that, fans will look back at, like YouTube compilations or if like their mashup videos, to look at those key moments. And I want to wonder what key, like if you had to name 3 key moments from Batista's career, what would they be?
Well, I would say winning the Royal Rumble obviously, win the win the world title, that's definitely his number one. But for me, personally, I liked it in 2010 when he turned heel and done the feud with John Cena, and he was the WWE Champion. I felt like that was the OG Batista for me. That's why I was gutted he left straight after that feud, because I felt like there's so much more he could have done. But I suppose he just wanted a break, wrap up and stuff. But definitely there's so much more he could have done there. But the OG Batista for me, and the key moments, was when he was feuding with John Cena in 2010. That was prime for me.
Good thing indeed. But I want to know one final thing on Batista, Wonder, my friend. Which championship do you think he looked better with? The World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Spinner Championship?
The Spinner Championship.
Whoa.
It's when, I don't know, it's like when he shaved his head and got all the tattoos and all, I feel like the spinner belt looked great on him. Obviously, like when he won the belt, when he didn't have as much tattoos, he had the hair and stuff. Like I'd say he looked good in both, but I just thought like the spinner belt just looked that bit much better on him. So I'd definitely say the spinner belt looked great on the man.
You love to see it, my friend. I always wonder yourself, here in the old country of Scotland, where everything is great and we have the best beer in the world and the whiskey, I will absolutely sign that on a sheet. I want to know the Scottish scene. Oh, absolutely, brother. But the Scottish scene, it's very interesting. There's so much going on right now. And for yourself, entering that scene, was there like just that so much opportunity there than, maybe some people might not have thought?
Well, personally, I feel like I've got a different view to a lot of people in Scottish wrestling. Obviously, the lifetime goal as being a wrestler is to make a living off of wrestling. That's the lifetime goal. That's why we do this. Like, we're here because this is what we want to do. This is how we want to pay our bills and stuff. So I came back to wrestling with a different attitude than most. I came back to wrestling and said to myself that I'm going to be a key player in Scottish wrestling. I'm going to open up my own promotion. And I'm just going to smash out the park any opportunity that I'm given. And I'm really thankful to Ravie-Davie for that, because the Wanderer wouldn't be here sitting talking to you right now if it wasn't for that guy, if it wasn't for the opportunities that he gave me to showcase my talents in CPW and stuff. I feel like I owe a lot to him. And I came back to wrestling with that attitude. I just wanted to take over and become the man. And sometimes you just got to tell yourself that, even when you aren't the man. You've just got to have the attitude that you're trying to be the man. So pretty much my goal is to take APW, Attitude Pro Wrestling, to the next level, as well as take myself to the next level. And with everything that's going on right now, there is no reason for it to fail. But
Absolutely, mate.
again, it's all down to hard work, and you've just got to keep pushing. And that's what I'll say to anybody listening right now. If you've got a goal in mind, whether that's run your own promotion, becoming a wrestler, becoming a referee, no matter what, like go and fucking chase it, and you'll get there. There's no reason for you to fail. And if you fail, that means you're still doing things right, because you learn from failure. So definitely
take some bad opportunities or maybe some lesser opportunities, and they may saying like, "Oh, I'm not doing the best thing," but they're still opportunities to learn from and develop from, and that could be a valuable lesson later down the line. I mean,
that's right, correct.
Yeah, it's a fair point indeed. Now, obviously, you mentioned Ravie-Davie there, who I've had on the show before, and just seeing what he's done with CPW and everything is amazing. Even the training classes as well, and having that environment for even kids just to come and socialize as well. I want to know for yourself, Wonder, do you think if you were to wrap up this year and there was an award for most influential wrestler in the UK, Ravie-Davie would be at the top of that list?
Ravie-Davie is the hardest worker in British wrestling today. The work that guy puts in for CPW, the work he puts in the gym for himself, just in general, I've never met somebody more driven for success than Ravie-Davie. So what he's doing for Scottish wrestling is a great thing, and it's what Scotland's needed for a long time, because I felt like Scottish wrestling died down for a long time until the likes of CPW and that started coming about. And this isn't me burying anywhere else or that. You've got great promotions as well, like ICW, Discovery Wrestling. You've got all of them as well. But I felt like community pro wrestling has that difference. It's just the connection he has with the community. It's in the name. It's the connection he has with the community. Is unbelievable. As well as all the work he's putting in, he's changed a lot of lives for the better. And mine's has definitely changed for the better. But you've also got a lot of kids in the school and stuff that have managed to get their debuts and that, and you know what I mean, had the time of their lives. And it's all down to the work that this man's put in. This guy's doing a good thing for not just wrestling, but he's doing a good thing for people. As well, he's literally changing people's lives for the better, and in a way, he's made it, in my opinion, by doing that.
I absolutely wonder. And I've had people like Renegade Rex, Nathan Oliver, and Foreign, and they've all said the exact same thing you have said, my friend, of what Ravie-Davie offers them and gives them that chance. He will make sure you do indeed get that chance. But something interesting you mentioned there as well, which obviously like the Scottish wrestling scene dying down a bit. And honestly, I think it's a fair opinion, because a lot of people have mentioned that, guests and other people I've talked to in the scene. Why do you think it, especially was the Scottish scene, took a dip? Maybe when some would say even 3 or 5 years ago, it was on a high.
It was on such a high before lockdown. Lockdown definitely killed Scottish wrestling in a way, and also the speak out movement killed Scottish wrestling. Obviously, like, people getting outed left, right, and centre for, abusers, paedophiles, rapists, etc. A lot of that stuff killed the Scottish scene, I think, as well. A lot of people don't know where to work for, who to work for, and there's this big divide in Scotland now, where there's good guys and there's bad guys. But the divide that's been created in Scotland recently is been created for the better. So I definitely say that Scottish wrestling has found its feet again over time. So I feel like lockdown, the speak out movement was the reason it died down for so long. Just because obviously you couldn't run shows, etc. And it took a long time to get back on its feet. Obviously the economy rebuilding and stuff. So I felt like the 2 year gap of having no shows, etc. That's what killed Scottish wrestling a little bit. And now it is just coming back. This is it really coming back now. It's at the start of the year, I'd say it was this low. Now it's starting to get up this high again. So just over time, it's just getting bigger and bigger. So I'd definitely say that it's finding its feet again, but it died down for so long because of COVID, speak out, etc.
Many other factors, that weren't in people's control. But obviously, you mentioned it is rebounding back. So many other great things are happening within the scene. Discovery Wrestling in Edinburgh. We've got a deathmatch promotion starting in Edinburgh as well. We've got,
I've seen that Bleeding Gums. I've seen that. That looked fucking insane.
Well, I got to know, Wonder, deathmatch ever in your future?
There were. Listen, money talks. You want to put the Wonder on a deathmatch? Get the money out.
Make sure it's Scottish notes as well, because we don't want no English notes. I'm just saying. Pristine currency. 50
quid and there'll be a deathmatch.
Well, you heard here, folks. Get the PayPal out and get that DM ordered, because you'll be having a great talent on your show. But obviously as well, Wonder, I know you've done some great stuff for CPW as well, because you would even challenge the former champion, Thatcher Wright.
Yes, well, Thatcher Wright, I've wrestled Thatcher Wright about 3 times for the CPW. The CPW belt twice, and the first time he wasn't the champ. I've lost all 3 times, but again, Thatcher Wright is one of the top bad guys in Scotland. In fact, not one, he is the top bad guy in Scottish wrestling. There's not a guy in Scottish wrestling that can touch him. The heat that guy's got with the crowd, it is unreal. The guy just walks out. As soon as people hear Margaret Thatcher's voice, the crowd go insane and they just tear this guy up. They hate this guy so much. They hate his presence. Like, that is a fucking heel. And I don't like to give the guy a lot of credit because I hate the Tories. He's one of my arch nemesis, but I'll give him all the credit in the world. He's the best bad guy that Scottish wrestling has right now, and there's nobody that can touch him.
Absolutely fair play. I mean, I've had Thatcher on the show before, and it was a very tense interview, shall we say. I mean, the guy's got some viewpoints that'll get some riled up for sure. But also,
no good viewpoints. The Tory scum.
Bingo, brother, bingo. But obviously, CPW recently had their Govern Anniversary show, which I know you were on as well, but they had a big star like Eric Young over as well from TNA. And now they've got Santino Marella coming next year as well. So I want to know, Wonder, if you can maybe influence Ravie-Davie's mind and bring over some other TNA stars, who would you like to see come to CPW?
Specifically from TNA?
Maybe go outside the forbidden door, maybe? Let's quick it open.
Oh, there is honestly so many that I could say. But personally, I would like Hornswoggle to come over here. Just so the Wanderer can tag team with Hornswoggle. That'd be fucking brilliant. I would love that. There's actually there's so many guys. Like the Great Khali. Like, imagine the Great Khali over in CPW. That'd be brilliant.
I don't know if it'd be too tall to get into the venue, man. Jesus.
No, he definitely is too tall. He wouldn't fit in the Fairfield Club. He'd fit in the hub, no bar. So we'll get Ravie-Davie, if you're listening, get the Great Khali over and we'll stick him in the hub. Stick him in with the Wanderer, and I'll give him the match of his life.
Oh, well, I would absolutely pay a VIP front row ticket for that, because that would be a main event worthy match.
In all seriousness, there is like so many big names that are going to be coming to CPW within the next few years. Obviously, we've got Santino coming over, but that's not the only big name that CPW is going to have over next year. We're going to have a lot of big names over. 2024 is going to be a big year for CPW. It's going to be a big year for APW. It's going to be a big year for Scottish wrestling, but most importantly, the ideals and everything that we've got in place. We're here to take over. It's going to be a great year for CPW and Attitude Pro Wrestling.
Hey, I love to see it,
Just watch this space, because good things are coming. Good things are coming for the Wanderer. Good things are coming for Ravie-Davie. Good things are coming for Termination Z, Stan the Slav, the lot. It's going to be the year of us.
Bingo, my friend, indeed. And obviously, let's get on to Attitude Pro Wrestling as well. So obviously, I know you mentioned that you founded Attitudes, but I want to know like the faculties that went into building like the name, picking the name, picking a venue, building the logo, and everything like that.
So Attitude Pro Wrestling, to dilute back to where we started, you asked me how I got into it and stuff, and I mentioned us wrestling out our back gardens. Mm-hmm. So when I wrestled out my back garden, we called it Attitude Pro Wrestling. We took it very seriously. We had storylines and stuff. We had entrance, like we treated it like a proper show. Like we structured it like it was an actual show. So myself and Frankie Richards, us two were like the two best out of us all. We were the ones that took it that seriously that we ended up started training to become wrestlers, and the two of us are here on shows today and we're absolutely killing it. But so Attitude Pro Wrestling, the name came from just us wrestling in the back garden. I'm just going to continue the legacy that I started when I was 8 years old, and I'm going to turn this into a legit thing. It's not a fucking game anymore. This is a legit business now, and I'm here to do good things, and most importantly, I'm doing good things for Rolglen as well. Rolglen's the place I grew up. There was never a wrestling show in Rolglen. I always tried to get a wrestling show in Rolglen. The likes of Graham Mackay, who runs BCW, he ran shows in East Kilbride, which was just up the road. I say just up the road, it's about a 20-minute drive for Rolglen. And I used to always, and I mean always, pester this guy and tell him when he run a show in Rolglen, etc. And what he said to me was that, East Kilbride's just a bus journey up the road, and Rolglen's a surrounding area. So, no one's ever ran a show in Rolglen, and I thought, fuck it, why wait about? I'm going to be the man to do it, and I'm going to bring a spectacular event to Rolglen and give Rolglen what it's needed for so long, because there's nothing ever on for kids, for families, entertainment. There is nothing on for the community, and the fact that I can bring a wrestling show to this place that has had nothing on for so long, it's made my dreams come true. So I done my first show on May the 5th. It was a scheme wrestling spectacular that was Ruggy Mania, and it was an absolute success in every way. I did not think it was going to go to plan as it did, but everybody on the show, well, that's the wrestlers, the referee, the photographer, the merch ladies, everyone made that show that day. I did not do all this alone. I had a great team of talent there to help me out, and we absolutely smashed out the park. So after that, I decided I'm going to run another show. Done Ruggy Slam, sold that out, and now we're moving on to the Ruggy Rumble, which is nearly sold out. We have literally got 20 tickets left for it, where we crown our first ever Scottish champion and our first ever Scottish women's champion as well. So yeah, big things are coming for APW in 2024, as you can see as well. We're running a show in Wishaw for Bound for Wishaw, featuring TNA wrestling superstar Joe Hendry and the over-the-top wrestling world champion Sammy D. So we're going bigger. We're going to be bigger, badder and better, and we're going to knock out the park.
Hey, absolutely, man. I mean, I'm excited to see all this going on in our Scottish country, man. It's just so proud to see. And obviously, you mentioned the Ruggy Rumble. There's so many individuals, already in it. Obviously, Ravie-Davie, Cousin Sanders, Spider-Bam, yourself, Frankie Richards, Thatcher Wright, Sam Barber, who's been on the show before, Stan the Slab King, CJ West, Ronan King, and many, many others. I want to know, obviously, it's going to be crowning, the Attitude Pro Wrestling Scottish Championship. What does that belt look like? I got to know details. Come on.
Right. Hold on a minute. The Wanderer will be right back.
Oh, we're getting a prize here, folks. I must say. I mean, this could be something. If it's a spinner, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a cartwheel on stream for you guys because, seen me always mention I do love the spinner title. I mean, come on. Yeah, I know I have some bad takes, right? But come on. It's a spinner championship. Thing sells merchandise like anything.
Right. So we're ready to see the belt.
We're prepared.
Drum roll, please. So this right here is the Attitude Pro Wrestling Scottish Championship. This will be crowned on January the 19th at the first ever 30-man Ruggy Rumble.
So what a beauty.
So there we go. That is the APW Scottish Championship. The prestigious APW Scottish Championship, actually.
Well, I'd love to hear it, my friend. I'm going to know, what's the story about making that type, from design and to finally having it in your hand? What were the kind of steps, man?
I just need the title. I looked online for places to make them up. I saw this place where you just add your, basically, they've got templates, and you just kind of add like where you want your logos, etc. So it's kind of just a template championship, and I've added my logos onto it. But I'd say it's more temporary just now until we get more shows done, etc. We get more cash in the pocket, and we'll make a much better title. But for now, this bad boy will do us. And personally, I think it's a great title anyway, by the looks of it.
Hey, I'm all for it, my friend. I now want it for my collection. I want to have it in the studio. I want it behind me now, representing.
Well, I'll need to work on getting replica belts made, and maybe we foam belts like the wee Jacks ones you got.
Wow. My wallet is already crying at that opportunity. But you know what? I'll take it. But obviously at the Ruggy Rumble as well, you mentioned APW Scottish Women's Championship as well, which is going to feature, Ruby Roberts, previous guest of the show, Ashley Vega, Ellie Armstrong, and another previous guest of the show, Nicole Jasmin. Now,
yeah, that's right.
All four great wrestlers indeed. And I want to know your thoughts as well, The Wanderer. One of those guests, previous guest of the show, Nicole Jasmin, recently challenged for the CPW Women's Championship, not coming up with the win, unfortunately. But from Ravie-Davie and Sam Barber, who I've had on the show as well, I mentioned, watching her promos work and really like having that connection and the passion. Do you think Nicole can maybe be a breakout star next year within the Scottish scene?
Definitely. I wouldn't say could be. I think she already is a breakout star. I think Nicole Jasmin is one of the most destined and hardest workers in this country. There's nobody that wants it more. She has a dream, she has a passion, and she's doing everything to make that come true. She's a really good friend of mine as well. And yeah, she's absolutely killing it. She's getting better each and every time she goes in that ring. She learns every time. She grows and she gets better. I think definitely. I think it's going to be a big year for her next year. But in terms of being a breakout star, I think she already is a breakout star.
Right. Love to see it, my friend. That's the hell of a kind of comment.
Also, you've got Ellie Armstrong, the CPW Women's Champion. Again, she's another huge breakout star this year. She's really great. Again, hard worker as well. Same with Ashley Vega. Ashley Vega is probably one of the most underrated women's wrestlers in the country as well. I'm not sure. Does she train with Andy Wild? She trains with. Am I right?
Yes, Ashley Vega. She does.
That's right. I thought someone different there. So she trains over at FPWA. They've got a fantastic range of talent as well. I'll be looking to get some of them on my shows next year. So yeah, and Ruby Roberts, last but not least, again another outstanding female talent. I think she's been on the scene for about maybe 3-4 years now, and her journey's been incredible. From her weight loss journey to debuting in Attitude and everything as well. She's phenomenal. They're all phenomenal, and there's a reason that all four of them are in that match, because they are the four top rising stars, rising women stars in Scottish wrestling, and that is a fact.
Hey, I will not go against that fact, my friend, because it is the fact and it's the truth, and I will absolutely believe that any day of the week as well, because they are four exceptional women wrestlers. But obviously as well, at the Ruggy Rumble, you've got an early VIP entry match as well, CJ West versus Lee McRae. And these VIP matches, I think, are very important. They're sort of like the enticing to get the audience, get going and get hyped for the rest of the show.
That's correct. The VIP match should set the tone for the main show, and that is exactly what's going to happen when one of Scotland's top rising stars, Lee McRae, battles Irish superstar CJ West. It's going to be a phenomenal match, and you VIP ticket holders, use are in for an absolute treat, because that is a match that really should have been on the main show, but we've got to treat our VIP customers, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. We always have to treat the most loyal and the most passionate.
Most
fans.
loyal, passionate fans in the world.
Bingo, my friend. Bingo indeed. But obviously, after that, you've got Bound for Wishaw. A hell of a show coming. Obviously, we mentioned with Joe Hendry coming over as well. I want to know, my friend, when you knew you were going to have Joe on the show, was that like a, oh, wow, this is heating up moment?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Joe for seeing something in me and giving me the opportunity to let me have him be a part of my show. I won't lie, I just messaged him, just try to be a chancer pretty much, just kind of like try to get a good name for the show, bring in some eyes on the product and stuff. I recently started training with Joe Hendry as well. So, yeah, great guy, easy to do business with. Yeah, I'm buzzing to have him, and I thank him. I thank him so much for giving me the opportunity to let him be a part of my show, because having him on that poster's only just brought eyes onto the product. I've had a lot of great names, etc., message me after revealing that poster. So it gave me a good vibe, and there's nothing but positivity getting into this show, because I've got a guy like Joe Hendry on the show, as well as the OTT World Champion, Sammy D as well. That's another great name to get in as well. So, I'm buzzing to put on this event. I returned to wrestling in the Rivals Gym in Wishaw for a promotion that called Rivals Pro Wrestling. It lasted one show. A lot of stuff happened, this and that. Not really important, but pretty much they don't run shows there anymore, and I couldn't let that venue just go. That is a wrestling venue, and I'm going to put on a much better show and give Wishaw the biggest wrestling show it's ever had.
Hey, I love to see it, my friend, honestly. And I think, wrestling fans, if you're watching this, really do support your local indies as well, because it's not just important, for the wrestlers, getting the training, getting exposure and rising up within the scene, but it's important for the community as well, because it builds that connection with fans, families, and just brings wholesomeness to the whole entire environment.
That's correct. As well as we'll try to, as you can say, make money. We want to put on a really good show as well. I'm not doing this for the money. Obviously, the money is a lifetime goal. Making a living off of wrestling is obviously where we want to be, where we want to go. But in order to make money, you've got to invest. Whether that's investing into ring gear, investing into the show that you're running. And that's exactly what I'm doing. You look at my cards. My cards are stacked, and I mean stacked to the brim, because I want to put on a really good wrestling show. I want to put on a card that everybody's going to remember, and I'm going to do that every single show. I'm going to put on a show that everybody can remember, or at least try my best to.
Hey, don't worry, my friend. I'm sure you will, and I'm sure people will leave absolutely happy with a good old smile across their face. But also, I want to know as well, Wanderer, next year, and something I've always imagined for the Scottish scene, maybe even next year or something down the line, a big Scottish super show. Pro 2, Act 2, CPW, Pro Wrestling Ready, ICW, Discovery, putting on a massive card, just a massive showcase of all the Scottish talent, Scottish championships. But I want to know, Wanderer, if this show does take place, what would be the best venue for it?
If you were to run a big show with pretty much every promotion in Scotland coming together to put on this big event, it would have to be in the Hydro, or Hampden Stadium, or Celtic Park. No Ibrox, but but I'd maybe say like the National Stadium, Hampden, or the Hydro, etc. But one thing to clarify right now, that will never ever happen in a million years. Every promotion in Scotland is never ever going to work together to put on a big event. As cool as that would be, and as much as I'm game for that, it's never going to happen. It's just one of the things. People are competing with each other. Nobody wants to work with you. Everybody wants to work against you. It's just how it is. But as good as that would be amazing. Like a big, massive show with like, all the promotions coming together. We do a big show in Hampden Stadium. That'd be brilliant. I couldn't even think of matches that I would do in that show.
Oh, give me insight. Come on, I'll get that Booker mind working.
If you had like every promotion, I don't know.
Come on, Wonder. I got faith.
I honestly don't know. Like, how would you? Was there any dream matches that were in my head? Or is there like a match for? Is there like a guy for CPW or like a guy from? Promote like a guy from Discovery. It's kind of one of the ones. Like if you want to see somebody for this promotion wrestle this guy, that's kind of the show to do it on. If you had all these promotions doing like a sort of forbidden door type of card. But I couldn't think of what matches would be on that card.
I'm sure when we finish this interview, he's going to be getting his notepad out and just be scribbling.
Watch me think of all these great matches that I could have told you in this podcast after the show. It always happens. I always think of it when it's too late.
Well, I think that just means we need a part 2 later down the line, my friend. I mean, I'll take it.
Oh, definitely. Listen, the Wanderer's up for anything. The Wanderer would be an honour and a privilege to be back on.
Well, hey, I would be privileged as well and honoured, my friend, as well. But also, you know, with the UK scene, there's not just Scotland, you know, Ireland as well, Wales and England as well. So I want to know as well, Wanderer, if you could maybe bring someone from a promotion down south, Wales, or I know you've already brought in Sammy Deal from OTT, up to Attitude, who would you want to bring over and why?
From Attitude, up from England, trying to think. You know, you've got tons of guys. You've got tons of guys that are in the UK. There's so many guys that I would love to bring in. I'm just trying to think who I really want to bring in. To be honest, I don't know from England, etc. I don't actually know who off the top of my head. But if there's honestly one guy in the whole UK wrestling scene that I would want to bring in, it is Grado.
Oh, okay.
The whole UK wrestling. Grado, I know you're probably not watching this, but if you are watching this, come on, get the finger out. Get on APW. It'll be a great laugh. We'll get you a great match, and I'm telling you, you'll have the time of your life. But
just have Madonna ready to play, my friend. That's all I'm saying. Have that ready in the background, ready to play.
No, definitely. If there was anybody in the entire UK scene that I would want to bring into APW, it is Grado. First of all, the draw. Secondly, he's the man, and thirdly, it's just Grado. Like, who doesn't love Grado? Like, tell me who doesn't love Grado. But he's the man that hopefully I can bring into wrestle for APW one day. But obviously, if you're talking about England and stuff, Gene Mooney, he's one I would like to bring in. The Session Moth Martina. There's so many great names I would love to bring in, like man like Derice. Who else have we got? You've got Robbie X.
Maybe Spike Trevay, the Progress World Champion.
Yeah, why not? There's so many big names in the UK that I would love to bring in, but fortunately I can't bring in all of them. But there is a few names there that I've mentioned that I will try and get on Attitude one day.
I'd love to see it one there, honestly.
Grado is Grado's here. He's at the top of the list. He's at the top of the food chain.
Good place to be on the food chain and the list as well. But wondering, we're coming to the end of our time here, and I really appreciate you coming on. But I want to ask one final question for Attitude Pro.
Of course.
If you could have one championship for maybe WWE, AEW, or even TNA defended in your promotion, which title would you want to be and why?
It would be the WWE Championship, because that is the main and most prestigious championship in the world. And obviously, as a promoter, you want the best championships defended in your show. The likes of the OTT World Champion Sammy D. You never know, he might defend the world title on my show at Bound for Wishaw.
Well, I mean, folks,
if I was going to bring a championship in from any promotion in the world, it would be the WWE Championship. Like, why not? Like, what tops it? But if you're asking the mark in me, it would probably be like the white Intercontinental belt, or try to think, maybe like the European title, or even the hardcore title. But that's just the mark in me saying that. But the promoter in me, the businessman, the Vince McMahon in me, I would bring the WWE title in.
Oh, well, you know what? Hey, fair play. He reached for the top because, I feel like, folks, Attitude Pro Wrestling in 2024 is going to be one of the top here in the UK, and I definitely think we should all check it out. But obviously, you can check out very easily because, folks, I will be giving away 2 VIP tickets for Bound for Wishaw. So I will be doing weekly on the Instagram story. Find out how you can win there. Go from the YouTube to the Instagram, and you will find out to win those luxury tickets. But Wanderer, thank you, my friend, for tuning in for an episode here of the Soul Sessions. And what I'll do, folks, as well, I will have the Wanderer and Attitude Pro Wrestling's Instagram link up the description of this video. You can click them, follow the Wanderer, and follow Attitude Pro and see what's going on in their journey. Now, folks, I would say the whole YouTube stick, but YouTube's been around since 2005. I have faith you know what's going on. Well, folks, stay well and stay home.